I've had a few requests from people asking me to show them how to knit in the traditional Shetland way with a knitting belt and 3 double-pointed needles. So I'm going to have a go at showing you that today. So firstly, here is a knitting belt. This is how most people knit in Shetland, and it's certainly how I was taught. The knitting belt is worn on the right hand side of the body, and what it does is just holds your needle really firmly on the right hand side to enable you to get on with your colour work or whatever it is you're knitting at this end of the needles. I think that it was originally used by women who needed to walk and knit at the same time and carry on with their chores, but thankfully these days there's not quite as much pressure to knit as continually as it was in the olden days. So I'm going to firstly cast on. I've started casting on here, and I'll show you how I do that. So I cast on using my thumb in the method that I was taught when I was a young child. I don't know if there's a name for this method, but this is what I do. So I hold my yarn in my fingers, put my thumb underneath and just make a loop and just carry on in this way. So that's my cast on loops. You're looking for them to be reasonably even and not too tight. They should be able to slide quite easily along the needle, or wires as we say in Shetland. So now I'm going to start row 1. So you'll always know your row 1 because it has the thread where you started. It also has these little bumps. That's the front of your work, and on the back are these more slanting stitches that would go on the inside of your work. So I'm going to start doing a bit of ribbing. It's always a bit difficult your first row getting started. I would say if you drop a stitch at this stage, you're as well just to scrap it and start again. It's difficult to fix anything if it goes wrong at this stage. So I only have a small number of loops on this sample that I'm showing you today. You would obviously have a lot more if you were making something for real. So that's 20. I'm doing for this demonstration just 20 on each side. So now what you do is work across needle 2, that's needle 1 finished, and then I'm moving to the back to do needle 2. I'm using 20 centimetre smaller wires that I use for hats and gloves, and if I was making a ganzi or a jumper I would use longer ones. Quite like the short ones, more comfortable. So that's row 1 finished, and now what I'm doing is what we call joining your work to work in the round. So that is, as I've been describing, even numbers on the front and the back, and from here on the front of your work will be on needle 1 and the back of your work will be on needle 2, and the same would be for any garment that you were making, whether it's a small pair of gloves or a jumper. So I now knit row 2. So I need to just make this first stitch quite tight so that there's not a big gap in the crossover point here. So that's again across needle 1, knitted up. You can see the beginnings of the ribbon starting to emerge. And then I would simply carry my yarn onto needle 2 and repeat the whole thing again and just continue up. Once you've done a few rows of ribbon, you'll be ready to start your colour work, and you just add in your second colour at that point. So that is the three needle double pointed needle method. Thanks very much for watching today.